Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rooted Mama podcast. Well, we have yet another special episode today. In this episode, we are joined by Monica Avila, the owner of Luna and Leche Maternity. Monica and I found each other a few months ago on the internet, and my spirit was immediately drawn to her. In this episode, we discuss Monica's journey to creating Luna and Leche, and she gives us some behind the scenes scoop into kind of her design process and what it really looks like to be a business owner, especially as a mother. I can't wait for you guys to hear this episode. And by the way, Monica is offering a special discount to Rooted Mama listeners. So if you're interested in grabbing some beautiful pieces from Luna and Leche, the links will be in the show notes. All right, let's get into the episode. Well, Monica, thanks for joining us on the podcast today.
Hi, thank you for having me.
So I want to get straight in because I have so many questions and like your story is so interesting to me. Tell us a little bit about yourself, like who you are, your backstory, where you're from.
Yeah, so I am originally, well, my name is Monica Avila, and I am the owner and designer of Luna and Leche Maternity, and we are a clothing brand that focuses on breastfeeding and pumping friendly styles. And so I grew up in Central California where my neighbors were cows and chickens and oranges and like rural California. And ever since I was little, I had always wanted to live in a big city. Um, so much so, like, it was just, I just knew it was a part of my story since I was a little girl. So, a week after I graduated high school, I packed up my bags and moved to San Francisco and received my Bachelor's of Fine Arts with a focus on fashion design. I lived in San
Hmm.
Francisco for 5 years and then moved to LA to pursue my fashion down there since when I graduated, we were kind of in a recession. So I was like, you know what, let me go where there's a bigger pool. And so I was in LA
Mm.
for, I think, close to 10 years. So I was there for a while, different parts of LA. Loved it, blossomed into me being a designer. I worked for several different companies, celebrities, whatnot, doing design and tech design work. And then I became a mom while I was doing that too. And that kind of, I guess, put me into the position I am now, where I own my own maternity clothing company because I realized that there was a huge need in the industry because there wasn't really anything for moms and specifically for breastfeeding moms. So,
Mm.
couple years gaining my courage, I started my company and then decided to move back to Central California. So I had a lot of family support to help me as I grow my company.
Wow. I wonder like how was it getting in fashion is not easy and like to go into LA and like get started? Like how did you go about finding the right people and like getting into these brands? Doesn't seem
Yeah,
easy to me, I guess.
it definitely, when you're young, you're so courageous and like, just like, what do I have to lose? So that helped a lot. And I think I still am courageous. I haven't lost too much of that. But when I went to college, I had some great professors that helped me and guided me and mentored me into internships, into job opportunities, and into amazing things that I don't think I would have done had I not gone to school for fashion. I think I
Mm.
wouldn't have gotten to that level of like learning had it not been for that opportunity. So that kind of geared me in San Francisco to like push myself and try new things and do really cool stuff. So then when I went to LA, I already had the mindset of like, I just need to know one person and that one person could just help me. And so I
Wow.
did. I met one person and I had an interview and her and I clicked. And then from there, it's just like, oh, I could do this. This is easy. Like, I loved what I did, like technical and design work. Um, I absolutely loved it. And I guess it showed in my portfolio of how much I really enjoyed working in the fashion industry. So it just, I don't know, it just blossomed.
Yeah, I mean that makes a lot of sense, right? You could do a job and just do a job, but there's a difference between someone who has the passion for it and who loves it. Like it shows up in the finished product.
Mhm.
So that sounds like what you're saying, and that leads to Luna and Leche. But I do wonder, okay, just because you're a mom and you said this is your first baby,
Yeah.
can you tell us a little bit about like, did you immediately get pregnant and know I need to make a clothing line? Or was there a process to
Oh
figuring it
yeah.
out?
It
Because
was a
there's
very
something to that,
tearful.
right? Like not many women who aren't mothers yet don't fully understand the change that happens to the body and like trying to figure out what clothes to put on and then
Mhm.
you can't fit those clothes anymore.
Yeah.
So
And
can you
then the
talk
whole
about
like
that?
mental thing. Yeah. No, so because I was in fashion, I expressed myself a lot through my clothing. It was just part of me. Um, and when I became pregnant, I mean, granted, it was my first daughter, I was in fairly good shape. So I didn't really start showing until maybe 25 weeks, 25 weeks,
Mm.
somewhere around there. Um, but once I did start showing, I realized like, oh, like there's not really anything for me to wear. And I was 26 and I was like, well, I don't have money to spend like $200 on one dress. Like that's not realistic. I lived in downtown LA. Like all my money was going to rent.
Yeah.
Uh, so, so I was like, okay. So it just started like I don't know, manifesting, I guess, a little bit at that time, but it really hit when I had my daughter already. It was like one of my first times leaving the house. And I was like, okay, I'm going to breastfeed and then she's going to fall asleep and I'm going to quickly go to Target, which is like 15 minutes away, come back. She hopefully is still asleep. Like I could do this in between like feedings. I got this. Like it's November. All I need really is like two maternity tops that I could breastfeed in easily. And like if I'm lucky, a pair of pants, but I don't care. Just like I just really need two tops. So I drive there, we're good. And I'm looking through the racks, looking through the racks, looking through the racks, and there's nothing that I could breastfeed in. Everything was
Mm.
woven. There was no openings anywhere. Um, I mean, literally the only thing I found was a tank top that had the clips, the nursing tank tops. I was like, it's
Yes.
November. It's November. Like, granted, it's California November. We don't get snow or like drastic cold, but still, it was cold.
Yeah.
And so I was like,
Yeah.
are you kidding me? So I was getting frustrated, still trying to look in the maternity section. And then my daughter wakes up that she's hungry. And so she is crying at this point. Well, I'm just trying to hurry up and find like one shirt. And then it leads to me crying. So then I had to take off my shirt and kind of figure out how to breastfeed her right there in the middle of the store. And
Yeah.
we're just both tearful. And then I'm frustrated because I'm like, man, this should be so simple, but it's not. And then, and then it hit me. It's like, Monica, you have every skill to
Mm.
help other people like this. Like, this is what you've been leading yourself up to. Like, it just all
Wow.
the pieces all of a sudden connected where I was like, wait, this is what I was meant to do with my degree. Like, this is it. So it took me actually several years to get the courage to actually launch and produce the
Mm.
clothing line because I was like, oh, I'm gonna wait till my daughter's a little bit older, or I'm gonna wait till this date. I'm gonna wait till this day, and it just kept on going and going, and years were passing, and then finally, oh, I can't remember how old she was. I think she might have been 6 years old when I finally hit
Wow.
like launch and like launched my business. So it was a long process and like a lot of mental hurdles I had to go through to finally
Oh, let's
have the
I mean,
company.
if you don't mind, I love to talk about it because like I said, there's women out there that they they have like a dream or something that is important to them. Maybe they discovered a hole. Like that's what you found, a
Mhm.
hole, and they want to do something, but they're not, you know, able to do it. There are the hurdles, especially for mothers. Like you
Mhm.
talked about waiting for your baby to get older, and kind of like putting it off. So, if you don't mind, I'd love to talk about that because there are definitely mothers who have a dream and like can do something, but they're nervous or scared, or maybe they can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it took like I said, it took me a long time to finally get up the courage and just do it because I thought I was like, well, if it's So what it really came down to for me is it was close to New Year's Eve. I forget which year, like 2020. No, it was 2020. And and I was like, you know what? My daughter, who was born in November, I was like, we're so close to New Year's Eve. It's been so long that I've like had this vision, and for me, like just sitting on it. And I was telling people that I'd wanted to do it, and they're like, this is such a great idea. Do it, do it, do it. But I hadn't done it. So finally I looked at myself and I was like, okay, either on New Year's Eve you have the decision, either you're gonna completely forget about this idea of owning a maternity clothing line and completely forget about it, never talk about it, never even mention it ever again in your life, or you're going to do something about it and take steps to go forward and pursue it. Like, and then I let
Wow.
it sit with myself. And I was just sitting there. I was like, you know what? It doesn't feel good in my gut if I just walk away from this. Like, I want this.
Mm.
And so that was the point where I was like, okay. And then, of course, it was 2020. Everything shut down when I like finally was like, green light, let's go. I was all excited. And then my lawyer at the time, she's like, hold up. We don't know what's going to happen. You're going to have to wait. Like everybody's on standstill. So it took me a long time to get my trademark and stuff approved because that was my first step was to do that.
Yeah.
Um, so, I mean, that was kind of a good and a bad thing because then I could, I don't know, it just made me learn patience, which I'm not great at. Um, but then
I
also it helped
understand
me
that.
figure out a lot of the like back end stuff of what I needed to figure out owning a business. Like I just knew my portion of it, like what I knew, which was design, but I had
Mm.
no really knowledge of running a business. So that time allowed me to like figure out the first couple of years of like how to set up a website, which website do I choose, my colorways, and like, you know, all the branding stuff and
Yeah.
logistics of what I could produce.
So did you have to do all of that on your own, or did you have someone that was helping you out with some of that stuff?
Yeah, so I decided to hire a business coach once my first trademark was denied because it was my original name was too similar to another company that doesn't
Mm.
produce any clothing at all. However, it's a huge corporation that's nationwide. It might even be worldwide. And they do sell one nursing bra. That's it. And
Oh
I
my
highly
goodness.
doubt like they did it for their own legal reasons, which is smart as a business owner.
Yeah.
This was really smart.
Yeah.
Um, but because of that one bra that they sell, I wasn't able to, like, it was too close. And so that's why I got
Okay.
denied. And so I had to go back to the drawing board. And I was already so like emotionally invested in that original name. And I was just stuck again. And I was like, I don't know
Mm.
what to do. Like, I had already like bought my business cards and all this stuff. Like, that's such a waste of money. So I was really down on myself. And
Oh,
then I was like,
yeah,
I need to
yeah.
hire a business coach to help me get out of this funk because I can't do it by myself right now. So I hired Wendy Amara. She's my business coach, and she helped me get out of the funk, helped me like streamline my stuff and inch forward and go forward. And then there was a community that used to exist called We All Grow Latina. And
Hmm.
it was a huge support too for me at that time because there was a forum for us saying like, hey, if you know, I posted, I need help with a logo design. And there was a graphic designer who's just starting up too. And she was like, hey, I could
Wow.
help you. And so we kind of like brainstormed and like worked with each other. So she was able to use it for her portfolio and I was able to use it for my brand. And we, you know, teamworked there too. So it was in the beginning, there was a lot of like me asking for help, which, you
Hmm.
know, this is brand new to me. I needed the help.
Yeah. And it sounded like like divine timing. So like even when it was taking a long time to get started, when you did start, you had a team there like kind of waiting, a community
Yeah.
there to help you through it. So that sounds great. Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing that.
Yeah, of
It's
course.
like the back part, you see where someone is and like you have no idea what it took to get there. And there's always a really deep story,
Mhm.
usually. And it definitely is not them alone. There's always someone that helped. Like, the idea of they say pull yourself up by your bootstraps in America.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like not true to me. I just don't
No.
think that anyone could really do that. There's always a community around, even if it's like literal family. Because
Mhm.
even then, you had your family encouraging you, like, girl, do it. Like, you can do this, you
Yeah.
can do this, you know? So you can't do anything alone. That's the
No,
lesson
definitely
there.
not. Definitely,
um,
especially as a mom too. Like you definitely can't. You need your
yeah.
community.
Years ago, when I first decided I wanted to become the best version of myself, I went out and bought this beautifully designed guided mental health journal. I was so ready to change my life, y'all. But when I got home, I looked around my apartment and every table was covered in junk. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, every table was covered in junk. So I couldn't even write on this journal, even if I wanted to. I didn't even have a clear space to sit down and write. And that moment really hit me hard because before I could grow into the person I wanted to be, I needed some simple first steps just to get my life together. That's exactly why I created the Daily Survival Planner. It's a starting place. Practical, doable strategies to help you organize your daily life so the deeper healing has room, literally room, to actually happen. You can find it in the show notes, and podcast listeners get a special discount. So let's talk about your clothing. I In your description, like on your website, I saw that you said it's intentional clothing.
Mhm.
And I think that resonates with me, but could you kind of explain your thought process behind the designs of your clothing?
Yeah, so like I said, we focus on breastfeeding and pumping friendly styles. And the whole point of that and why it's so intentional is because I want moms to feel comfortable and confident when they're wearing our clothing or and feel like breastfeeding is an inconvenience. Like I don't want them to feel like it's an inconvenience at all because it's not.
Mm.
It's just it is. That's how you choose to feed your child or pumping whichever. And why should us figuring out like what am I going to wear today be like the center of our morning? It should be like our children and, taking care of yourselves, maybe brushing your teeth in a decent time rather than like waiting till noon. Like us wearing our clothing or like whatever we choose to wear that day should not be like hyper focused on. It should be super quick, super easy, and everything should be able to be breastfed. But not a lot of maternity companies were like that I've noticed.
Mm.
So I was like, you know what? It needs to be easy and effortless. And I want to do that for these moms because it wasn't for
Yeah.
me. It was very challenging. And me trying to figure out how to, sew stuff up myself so I could, breastfeed easily and still feel comfortable, still look cute, and then not having to pay $200 for a garment. Like diapers are expensive,
I feel
wipes are
that. Yes.
expensive.
Yes.
So,
And no, and like that's such a good point. I want to slow down because you said something so important that motherhood is already hard. There's
mhm,
a lot that's going on there. And it's something that, again, no one could prepare you for until you're in it,
mhm,
that you would be spending time thinking about what you're going to wear because you have to put clothes on, and like
yeah,
you have to put clothes on every day, and especially if you're going out, if you're a working mother, or just like going out into the world and trying to feel good and look good, and you're breastfeeding your baby,
mhm,
like you said, pumping or direct breastfeeding. You do have to think about what you wear, and it is a source of frustration for mothers, and sometimes it can be the thing that like pushes them over the edge. So
yeah,
like when you said inconvenience, that's so important because there's so many things in motherhood that can be inconvenience.
yeah,
So like to add one more thing, it might just be like, you know what? I'm already having a hard time getting this baby to latch, or
mhm,
I have a low milk supply, or whatever the
mhm,
case is. And then on top of that, I don't have clothes that make sense
mhm,
for me. So
yeah,
like I'm done. Right.
yeah,
And like if you get to that, fine, but like you don't want that to be the thing, right? You don't
yeah.
want
You
that
don't
to be
want
the
the
thing.
clothes to be the reason.
Right,
Mhm,
exactly. So that's a really good point. And then the other big thing was like what I saw when I was looking at some of your pieces is that they just look so comfortable. Like it seems effortless, I guess is the best way. And like that's another big thing for moms. Like you want to feel comfortable,
yeah,
and that's what I'm seeing. But
yeah,
go on.
yeah. So fabric. So like I said, my background is in design and tech design, So, for those who aren't familiar, tech design deals with the logistical part of designing. So, we deal with how garments are fit, how they fit from small to, like, let's say 3XL, or like the stitching or the measurements. It's the very technical side. But because I have worked in both industries, um, it's very important to me how my clothes fit and feel.
Mm,
One, when I was expecting both of my daughters, actually, like the quality of clothing, I had to be super careful with. My skin was very sensitive and very
mm.
itchy, and just everything was very uncomfortable, especially with my second daughter. I'd gained a lot of weight. She was a 10-pound baby, and it
Oh
showed
my
on
goodness.
me. So like I didn't want to be in anything that made me uncomfortable, or like that was itchy or anything like that. I wanted soft elastics, I wanted soft fabrics, breathable fabrics. So when I am choosing uh fabrics and textiles and elastics, I do keep that in mind also. Um because I'm thinking back to me and like how I was, and I was like, ooh, I would have hated that. I would have hated. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to choose that fabric, even though it looks beautiful and like it would fit, however, it doesn't feel like how I would want to. So I don't choose that. So I'm very
Oh my
picky
goodness.
with that as well.
So as you're talking, I'm having like PTSD from this specific maternity dress that I picked out. It was for, what was it for? Okay, it was for a baby shower that my job was doing. So it wasn't like my legit baby shower, but it was like they're throwing it for me.
Hmm.
And I picked it out because of the pattern. Like, and I saw it online, which is probably a problem in and of itself. But like you said, there's nowhere to go like
Yeah.
in person usually. You do have to get it online. So I get it online and it's there, and I got it in such little time that I had no choice but to wear it.
Right.
And so the day comes and I put the dress on, and like the fabric on the like I still feel it against my skin. Like whatever, I don't even know the technical terms, but like the part that the seams
Uh-huh.
along the edge, because they're supposed to be stretchy for the belly,
Uh-huh.
they were so uncomfortable against my
Oh yeah.
skin. The
Like the
entire
gathering.
Oh my gosh, it was like
Mhm.
driving me nuts. So like as you said it, I was like, I remember.
You get the switches like, oh.
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh. Like that is I didn't even think about it until you brought it up. But like, yeah, in pregnancy, even the slightest like
Hmm.
thing can just throw you off, and like I still feel it against my skin.
Yeah. Yeah, and so that's why
Yeah.
it's important to me to have really great fabrics, and soft elastics too, because I mean, you don't want to have like a very nice garment and then all of a sudden like you have pinching, or something that makes you feel uncomfortable, because as pregnant women, you're already uncomfortable, or at least I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And especially during summer, and just when we're wearing more tighter fitting things. um that's the last, like I said before, like your clothing should just feel comfortable, and then that's it. That's like, you shouldn't have to think a lot into it. It should just be comfortable, nothing else.
Yeah. And something else I thought about was that you kind of also think about the transition. So like you're pregnant and then you're
Mhm.
not pregnant, and then you're breastfeeding, and then you're done, and like it seems like you think about that in your designs too, that like you could wear them at different points. Is that
Yeah.
accurate?
Yeah, so I do that with very a lot of intention, because like I said, as moms, we don't put ourselves first, a lot of the time. But then also, after postpartum, we're not going to have time to go shopping for like stuff either. So when I design, I think of that too. Like, okay, a mom could wear this during pregnancy. Maybe she could wear it a little high waisted, to go over the belly. There's a lot of stretch in the garments. So that's good for pregnancy. And then postpartum, she could wear it at her natural waist. It will still cover, some of our styles kind of give the illusion of like a cover over the belly type of thing, if that's an insecurity. Plus, you could breastfeed in like the top portion, and then it could even go into your wardrobe after you're done breastfeeding. I wanted to do longevity in my styles, and keep them as, I mean, trendy, but not super trendy to where it's like fast fashion type of like
Mm,
vibes. I wanted to make maternity clothing as sustainable as I possibly could have right now. Um, and that's how I'm doing it, is to make it so you're able to wear it during pregnancy, postpartum, and then have it carry on into, your wardrobe even afterwards, and possibly even pass it down too. So that would be.
so I'm wondering about you bring up a point that I'm not sure how to ask the question. So you mentioned fast fashion, and I hear that a lot.
Hmm.
And I don't know if you want to go there, but it's something that I hear a lot, and I think because I'm not in the world, like what is the issue with it, or like is there an issue? Like I hear it, and I
Yeah.
don't know how to ask the question. So like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so I could explain real quick what fast
Okay.
fashion is. So fast fashion is super cheap, costly to the consumer garments. And generally, the reason why they're cheaper to the consumer is because they are being made in a less quality fabric. They're being done in
Mm,
masses. And because they are not as high as quality in fabric, that means the longevity of the fabric itself isn't going to last that long. So,
mm,
a knit, a knitted t-shirt or tank top, if you buy a higher quality fabric, could probably last you years and years. But if you buy a lower quality, the stitching isn't going to be great. The fabric isn't, like, once you wash it a few times, the elastic in it is probably going to start
mm,
snapping, and therefore it's only going to last like maybe a year, maybe a season. Even if it's like a super trendy thing, the fabric might be even cheaper. So that's what fast fashion is. It's just like quick turnarounds of like trends in a lower quality material.
mm. And would you say that like the material itself has like what is the safety of it for like your skin? Is
Uh
it
that's it depends on, I mean, my opinion, fast fashion isn't really cautious about that stuff. But that's my own personal opinion.
okay.
But also, I mean, it's not going to, because it's not a nicer fabric, it's going to be a cheaper fabric. It's not going to be comfortable.
Mm,
So, it'll be a little itchy. The Yeah, the quality just won't be there. It might fit really weird too. Like, I've bought, I mean, I
mm.
don't anymore, but when I was younger, I tried doing some fast fashion companies that are like all online, and they came out, they just looked horrible. So I just was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop. I need to
Yeah.
stop buying this stuff. Like, it was great for my budget, but in the long run, it's just like, this isn't what I want to be wearing every day, in this like polyester, like weird stuff. So,
Yeah.
you know.
So let's talk about your community involvement because that's something else that I notice about you that is special, that you really care about your community. And I remember being so jealous that you were having the moms and mocktails event and knowing that I live in Tennessee. So do you mind talking about, kind of what you do in your community and the different events that you host?
Yeah, so we do have an event, Moms and Mocktails, and we had one also called Moms, Mocktails, and Minis. So where we were able to bring, the little ones along. So my
No.
oldest daughter's 10, and she's like, "Well, I want to go too. That looks like fun." So I was like, "You know what? I'll open it up for the young ones too." But yeah, it's where we moms in the community. So I have them either here in Central California or down in LA, because that's where I've lived the longest besides here in Central California. So I have a big community down there as well.
Hmm.
And we just go, there's always some sort of like craft type of structure to it. And that is because if we are focused, hyper focused on like one thing in front of us where we're making a tangible thing, it's going to help your mind just like let go of everything else, like any stressors that we had prior to that event. So that was done with a lot of intentionality to like okay, like, yes, it might just seem like we're creating a felted bouquet, but it's not just that. It's like letting go, or maybe they have turned into like vent sessions. Like sometimes moms just need a vent, and like them not making eye contact made them feel more comfortable
Mm.
speaking to whatever they wanted to speak to, whether it was like just venting and complaining, or talking about parent leave, or what else have we talked about? Um, Feeling sad after pregnancy too. So just a lot of things come to mind when, women are just there with other women. And like sometimes they don't even know anybody else there, but that's kind of the good thing. Is like there's no judgment because we don't really know
Mm.
each other super, super close. Um, which is great because it's led to amazing conversations and tears and connection. And then we have local vendors as well who support and, you know, offer to feed some of our mamas, some of their amazing stuff. So I'm able to highlight vendors in the local area as well. So when they have their baby showers, their first birthdays, they could go to them. They're like, oh yeah, I had this amazing cupcake at this event. Like I want to hire her for my baby shower. So to keep the flow of community going.
Yeah. What made you start? Like, what was the birth of that? Like, was it a conversation that you had, or was it just something that you noticed? Another hole, another
Yeah,
gap?
I don't
Okay.
I don't know. Well, okay, so I think it started from me moving to from LA to the Central Valley. In LA, I had, like I said, a huge, amazing community, and there was always events, stuff going on, and specifically for moms as well. And then when I moved to Central California, I didn't see a lot of stuff like that. And it wasn't, how do I say this? It was just a different vibe from what was down there to here. And so I was like, you know what? I need to create like a bridge between the two. I want my community here to
Mm.
feel and embrace and to get to experience this amazing, like all these amazing things that I had down in LA. And we kind of like Central Valley, I said ever since I was little, like we kind of get left behind because we're stuck in between two really big cities, San Francisco and LA.
Mm.
So I feel like they get all the like cool shiny stuff, and then like eventually it will reach us. And I was like, well, no, like I could be that middle person. I could, bring some of the stuff to the women that I meet day to day, and yeah, help them relax and find community.
Wow. There's something really special about you. I
Oh,
don't know if you know it, but there is something really special because it's so natural to you to um like see something that's important and then like do it. Even if it took a long time for your business, it was something that like you saw a need and you're like, I can do something about it. Maybe it took a while to get to doing it, but like you knew right away, like I can be the thing. And
yeah,
then you said it again later for like moms and mocktails that you're like, I see that this is an issue or like it could be better and I could be the solution. That's not how a lot of people think. And so there is something that's like within your heart that says, I can do it. Like here I am, or I can volunteer. So
hmm.
I just want to commend you on that.
Oh,
It's rare and it's
thank
taking
you.
you places, and I think like you will touch a lot of hearts and a lot of souls by like just being that authentic you who says, I'll be there. Like here I
Hmm.
am and I'll do
Yeah.
it. And that kind of leads me to our way to like wrap it up, I guess, is why is this so important to you? Like, I know that there's clothing and I know that there was a need, but like, I can just tell that there's something more there. And I don't know how to ask the question, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's something
Yeah.
that's driving you. Like, there's a community. Like, where did it come from? Where did this come from inside of you?
I think, yeah, no, I get what you're saying. And I've never, thank you, first of all, like for
Yeah.
seeing that. Like, I never put it in that perspective. And I'll have to like sit down with that afterwards. But when I was pregnant with my oldest daughter, I was living in LA. I had my group of friends, but I was also the first one to become a mom. I didn't, and then the company that I worked for too, I was the youngest one. All of them had already had their kids or chose not to have kids. Um, so I didn't really realize how lacking in community, like I didn't have any community. I
Mm.
tried, but it just didn't work out for one reason or another. And even when I was in my postpartum phase, I remember one of my friends, she called me at 10 o'clock at night and she's like, "Hey, there's a job opportunity, but you need to come here right now." I was like, "It's 10 o'clock at night. Like, what do you, I'm getting ready for bed. I'm in my jammies." And she's like, "No, it's a super great opportunity." And, she meant this conversation with so much love, because that's who I was prior. I was like, "Oh, yeah, let's go. Like, let's stay out." It's LA. So I'm like, "We're going to go out where all the cool people are. I'm going to meet all these contacts. Like, let's go. 1 o'clock in the morning, be at work at 7 the next day. Like, let's do it." Um, but anyway, so that had happened. And I was like, "No, like, I can't do that. Like, it's bedtime. It's bedtime." And, and then I guess my friends at the time started pulling, well, we just were growing different ways. I was a mom now, and they were not. They were still living, their fun, youthful lives.
Mhm.
Um, and I didn't have any mom friends or anything. Like, I didn't have any relatives that lived close by. Like, I was 3 hours, 3+ hours away. And I didn't get a lot of phone calls for me to ask, like, "Is this normal? Is this normal? This is weird. Is that okay?" So I think the reason why I'm so into what I do now is because if I could help one mom not feel as isolated in her pregnancy story or in her postpartum story, like, that's it.
Wow.
Like, that's it. That's what I want to do. Is I want moms to feel open and to feel comfortable and basically just have me be like their big Thea or something, like their aunt. Thea's in Spanish is to like comfort them, to help them, to guide them. And I guess that's what I'm doing.
Yeah, you are. That's literally what you're doing, and it is like resonating, you know. I'm a stranger and I got that, you know, so it's effective. You're
Mhm.
effective.
Oh, thank you.
And I think over time I see it's like you're okay, so I'm Christian and like like spirituality is really important to me. And so like the reason why I pursued you is because I see something in you and I'm like she's going to go places and she is like moving what I call the kingdom forward. Like you're
Mhm.
building the kingdom and like there's you might feel like you're just like a regular person, but there's something special that will help so many other women. So, like one person, if you help the one, and then they get inspired, and then they help five, and then it's just like
Mhm.
so, you know, it grows exponentially just from like one person saying, "Here I am," you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah. Wow.
Oh, I had
I
to
wasn't
fight back tears
expecting
with
that.
that. I had to fight
I
back
think
tears on that one. Thank you so much.
Okay, well, is there anything else you want to share? Can you tell us where to find you, where to find Luna and Leche, all the good things?
Yeah, so you could shop at lunaandleche.com, LunaAndleche.com. You could find me on Instagram at Luna and Leche _ maternity. That is our TikTok as well. And then I'm on Threads. What else? I have, if you're in Central California, I have a fashion show actually and a pop up coming up soon, which I'm really excited. That's going to happen next month. And then also, if you're interested on wanting to know our next launch dates and like our newsletters, go to lunaandleche.com and sign up for our newsletter because that's when we have a new line coming out soon, by the way. Woo. So if
Whoop.
you want to know all of that detail and like when that's coming out, newsletter is the way to go.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Monica, for joining us.
Yay. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.